All right, everybody, how are you doing? This is S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Thomas Show, episode number 188. And before I get started, I just want to tell you that thank you for coming back and listening to the show again. I've been out for a little while, but I'm back now. And this episode is going to be called You Don't Miss It Till It's Gone. You don't miss it till it's gone. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. Sometimes we have things that are around us that are more important than we think they are. And they're so reliable that we don't realize how important they are. And then, bang, they're gone either forever or for a short period of time. And all of a sudden, whoa, that was more important than I thought. Now, as a middle-aged guy, I'm not in the shape that I need to be, and I'm working towards being in shape again. And I remember what it was like to be in really, really good shape, right? I remember what that was like. And it's really weird. You don't miss your top fitness level till it's not there anymore. There was a time when if I was running for a bus and I saw that there was a bench in front of me and I ran towards it, and nowadays I would run around the chair, but the younger version of me, the one that had a six-pack, would have jumped over that like a hurdler and not even thought about it. I wouldn't even really acknowledge that the chair was there because it would be so easy for me to leap up over it, right? But you don't miss the fitness till it's gone. You don't miss it until you're playing with your grandnephew, and about 18 minutes in, you go to, let me go downstairs and get something. You ain't got to get anything from downstairs. You know what you got to get downstairs? Your breath back, because you're out of breath. And that's when I knew I had to start getting back in shape. Because I was playing, hey, let's play some more. I'm like, yeah, I'm making excuses to get away from it just so I could catch my breath for 30 seconds. Right? I didn't miss my fitness until I noticed that it was gone. I had a girlfriend. Well, I've had several girlfriends, but one in particular who was older than I was, a little bit older than I was, a little more mature than me, right? And I was always over at her house all the time. I had a key to her house. I had a key to her car, right? And as a younger guy, I'm always trying to impress the older girlfriend. We were both in our 20s, but I was in the beginning of mine, and she was near the end of hers, right? And I was always doing stuff for her because I loved her and I wanted her to, and if you love somebody, you do things for them, right? And I would just do things, if something was broken and I had the ability to fix it, I would fix it. At the time, I had a little, I was starting to get a little bit of money in my pocket. And if something, like say her blender broke, and I would just go get another one and replace it. You know what I'm saying? And I would go to the house, because my hours as a comic are a little different than a person who was working a 9 to 5. I had the keys to her car. So I would go to the house. I would get her car. I would wash her car. I would vacuum it out, organize the trunk. Yeah, I know it's a little punk. And organize the trunk and everything was there. So she got used, and I would put gas in the car. So she got used to having a full tank and having a clean car. She got used to that. And she started to take young me for granted, right? I would go over to her house. I'd be in her apartment, her apartment, not house, her apartment, right? I'd get there before she did because I had a key, right? And I would walk into the house. I know what I was going over there for. I was going over there before, you know what I'm saying, right? And I'd vacuum the floor. I'd put the dishes in the dishwasher, all sorts of crap like that because I was already there. I might as well. And she got used to that. Right? So much so that she would just kind of leave dishes laying around because she knew I was going to come over. I'd put the dishes in the dishwasher and then we'd do right? So it was great. But as the days go by, the weeks go by, the months go by, I started realizing that she didn't appreciate the things that I was doing anymore. She started to take them for granted. She started to take me for granted. And it started to annoy me. Right? And she started to take me for granted so much that she started to become attracted to an older guy, right? An older guy who had money. Oh, man. Right before, when we first got started and I did all these nice things. Oh, my God, you vacuum. Oh, my God, the dishes. Oh, my God, my car. Thank you so much. She was happy about it. And I was happy to make her happy because that's what you do. But all of a sudden, I became basically a maid service that got it on with her 3 times a week. And that's all I did. It wasn't like I was her boyfriend anymore. I was basically one of those toys, if you understand what I'm saying, that had that clean the house, you know what I'm saying? And I was not treated like a human being. And then one day I decided I don't even want to I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm being completely disrespected. Why would I waste my time doing this with someone who doesn't even respect me? And one day, one of those days when I would normally be there, I didn't show up. Ooh. So she was preparing for what would happen at nighttime, if you understand what I'm saying. And the king wasn't there to crown her, to put her on the throne. Pick a euphemism. You know what I'm saying. I wasn't there for that. Right. She walks into the house. The carpet is not vacuumed anymore. Ooh. Right? The dishes is still where she left it. Ooh. So she's not going to be, getting, what. She has her house, apartment's not looking that great. And guess what else happened? Ooh. She notices that over the course of the next few days, her gas tank wasn't magically refilling itself. Her car wasn't magically cleaning itself. Ooh. And with me not being around, it wasn't as exciting to sneak off with the married guy who was older than me and who had some. It wasn't as exciting anymore, right? Because when I was younger, I dated a lot of ladies that were a little older than me. And because I was young and broke, they would always, well, not always, like half the time they would go off with some guy who was older than me and made money. And every single time they came back begging, but none more so than this particular one. Oh, she was begging for the king to come back, but the king wasn't interested. When somebody does a whole lot of stuff for you and they're really going to do it on a regular basis and you get used to them doing that thing, oh no, when it's not there anymore, oh no, you don't miss it till it's gone. I didn't miss my fitness until it's gone. That's why I'm trying to get it back. She didn't miss what I was doing for her until I was gone. But too bad. I wasn't going back. Oh no. She kept calling and calling and calling and begging and begging and begging. And I said, no, you didn't think I knew about that guy you were seeing, because this was, near my hometown and I know a lot of people and they knew who my girlfriend was at the time. And they said, man, I saw your girl with this dude, man. I mean, he was like almost 40 years old. She was all up on him. And I said, are you sure? They proved it to me. And I was like, oh man. And that was the main reason, not only just because I was feeling like I was not appreciated, but also she was getting it on with another dude, which was the real 90% of the reason why I stopped, in addition to not being appreciated. She begged and cried and begged for months. And I said, I don't know why you're still doing that. Once I can't trust someone, they're done. I have no reason to talk to them. Once you break my trust, you're gone. It's over. And she finally figured out that was over and left me alone. But I bet she missed me. I bet she did. For a long time. You ever have a relative that's the linchpin relative of your family? There's that, maybe it's your grandma. Everybody goes to grandma's house. You know what I'm saying? Even if they live different places, everybody goes to grandma's house. And if you have a big meeting, you go to grandma's house, right? But grandma's 94 years old and then she passes on. But there's no person like her. There's no person that's underneath her that's the next person that you go to. Oh no, the house gets sold, or whoever somebody moves into it or whatever it is. But it's not the same, right? Maybe somebody, one of her children gets the house and they move into it or rent it out or whatever. And even if they have the house, you go in there, it doesn't even look the same, because now a new person's living there. It doesn't look like grandma's house anymore. I mean, it's the same shape. Maybe even some of the furniture's still there, but the pictures on the wall are different. The bathroom smells different. It used to smell whatever kind of stuff that grandma used to clean the bathroom with. Now whoever's there now cleans the bathroom with. That doesn't smell. The smells are different, right? Go in the kitchen, get yourself a soda. You go into the kitchen, you walk into the kitchen. It doesn't look like grandma's kitchen. Everything about grandma that made it special, it's all gone. She was the one that everybody calmed down. There was arguments in the family. Don't make grandma mad. And she was like, you better stop acting like that. And her voice was the one that calmed everybody down because they loved her and respected her so much. But she's gone. And with her being gone, that linchpin, that thing that held everybody together, all of a sudden the family starts to spread apart. right? You don't get to see the whole family together at the same time. The last time you got to see her was when you were celebrating your grandma's 94, almost 95 years of life. And the family breaks apart. There's no big angry thing. Nobody's mad at each other. It's just that there's not that magnet that pulls everybody together. It's not that older lady goes, why don't you call your sister? Why don't you call your brother? Why don't you call your cousin? There's not that place you go on Christmas when everybody wants to see grandma. That's not there anymore. She was 94 years on the planet. And she's a memory now, a positive memory, a great memory. You miss her power in the family. It's gone now. And so is the thing that holds everybody together. You did not understand how special that was until she was gone. Now, it's not always something big and special like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's something as dumb as what happened to me earlier this week. My car had a problem, right? And because I'm the guy, because I've always been the guy that drives around, I would drive my uncles my uncles have all passed on. And I would drive them to their chemotherapy, their rehab. I would get their medicine. We would all check on each, and I would be the one that was the transport to all of them. And I was reliable. I'm always reliable. But back then, I had a problem with the car, right? So I fixed the problem with the car, and he's reliable, man. Look how fast he got that done. But what we didn't realize was the thing that would break down that one time wasn't the car. It was me. I got food poisoning. Keep in mind, I was doing a lot of things for a lot of people, and I was reliable. They didn't even call to check to see if I was coming. That's how reliable I was. And then one day, I eat a salad at a restaurant, and I got a little tingle in my stomach. That was my first time getting food poisoning. I didn't realize that tingle meant food poisoning to me, because the second time I got food poisoning was exactly the same tingle. So I know what that tingle means, but at the time I did not. A little queasy, but that's okay. That happens every once in a while. I'm feeling kind of weak. Man, I can't even make it up the steps. What's going on here? Right? I go back to the bedroom. I have a hard time getting out of the bed. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And then all of a sudden, even though I don't have the energy to go up the steps or the energy to do anything, I definitely have a lot of energy when it comes to expelling fluids out of every single opening of my body. I was vomiting through the pores of my skin. Okay, I wasn't doing that, but you get the point. And food poisoning, the first 24 hours, you are doing nothing. The next day, you're feeling a little better, but you still can't do anything. You're still a little dopey, which means I was down for 3 days because of food poisoning. Now, when you're the guy that is responsible for moving a whole bunch of people from point A to point B, and you're the guy that takes people to chemotherapy, you're the guy that takes people to a doctor's appointments, you're the guy that goes to get the medicine, and you do all that kind of stuff, and you're down, and you're the one with the car, and you're down for 3 days. Oh no. You ever see one of those movies where there's a fire in the forest and all the animals come running out, or somebody leaves a threat of some kind of explosion in a hospital or a building, and everybody comes running out? That's the kind of panic that was going on with the people around me, because Captain Reliable, Mr. Reliable, was not available. Just one person, me, not being available, uprooted a whole bunch of people because they had to cover the thing that I did. This one had to take a day off work. That one had to take a day off work. This one had to take the day off work. This one had to take a sick day. This one, all of the stuff that I was doing, all of this, I didn't realize how many people I had affected by being available to do those things. And I don't think they realized how many people counted on me to do things, because I was down for 3 days, and I uprooted people's lives for 3 days by not being available because it was sick. You know how many phone calls I got? How you doing now, S? How you feeling, S? How you feeling? And I know they genuinely wanted me to be better, and I know they genuinely cared whether I was sick. But let's be honest, some of that had to be with, good Lord, bro, I didn't realize you did this much, and now we're all trying to take, can you get well quick, Jack? And then on the third day, near the end of the third day, everything went right back to normal. And everybody, literally, I got a lot of phone calls like, Man, I'm glad you back. Good gosh, man. Good luck. I didn't know you did all that. Sorry about that, but I'm not editing it out. So, something similar happened to me today. Like I said, with my car, I had to get my car fixed. My car was down for a couple of days because they couldn't find like 3 or 4 days because they couldn't find the part for the car. So my car is sitting at the mechanic shop for 4 days, and I still have to go shopping, and I still have to get lunch for everybody. I still have to do stuff like regular everyday thing for the house. So I had to walk to the store. And walking to the store, it's like, this is no big deal. So the car is down. But you keep forgetting when you go to the store, you're going to get stuff and have to walk back with that stuff. And that stuff wasn't light. It was heavy. And I had to walk several blocks carrying it in my hands, and my hands hurt. And you know what I'm saying? And what the heck? This isn't that heavy, because if you're carrying it from the back of the car up the steps into your house, it's not that heavy. But when you're walking 6 blocks with it, it gets heavy all of a sudden. And I started going to stores I normally wouldn't go to, because normally I'm driving my car. So I'm going someplace further out. But I go to the stores, I start building up a relationship with the people in the store. Right? At first, I was not a regular, so they were kind of looking at me like, who is this guy? How can I help you, sir? Die bastard. You know? Some corner stores are so used to the same clientele that if you're new, they kind of look at you like, who is this guy? They're looking at you thinking maybe you might want to put something in your pocket or something like that, right? So they were rude to me for half the time I was going there, but it was the only store within walking distance. And then just when they started to be nice to me, hey, it's Anthony, your car's done. Come get it. All right, thanks, man. Go get my car. And I would call that store every day at the same time to get lunch. I need this sandwich, that sandwich. I need this, that, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm telling you right now, I didn't go today because I didn't have to go today. And I know that guy who finally started being nice to me is wondering, why is that nice guy not calling today? Because I was going to get lunch for a bunch of people at a time. They started becoming nice to me because I was nice to them, but also because I wasn't spending a little bit of money. I was buying food for several people. So there was a nice little chunk of change that they're not going to get. And it went from being rude to me to starting to be nice to me. And I bet you right now, they're missing me going in there. They're missing me going in there. Now, I'm sure you've been in a situation like that before, where something was there for you all the time and maybe you didn't appreciate it, right? Until it was gone. Like the people here listening to this podcast. This podcast was offline for a while. And I'm sure today is the day, now that it's returning to a full schedule, that you're going to finally stop crying. It's going to be okay. I'll be here with this podcast. And if it makes you feel better, go check out my other podcast as well, called As Anthony Says. They're both on Spotify. They're on every place. They're both old podcasts. It's been around for a while. I've had listeners who's been listening to me for a long while. And I want you to keep listening. Because if you go, I'll miss you. Dig? All right, my friends, it's the S. Anthony Thomas Show. I am S. Anthony Thomas. Google me. I'm everywhere online. If you see me online, follow whatever I'm doing. Most importantly, in addition to subscribing to this podcast and sharing it and telling friends and spreading the word, also check out my YouTube channel, Mr. S. Anthony Thomas, Mr. S. Anthony Thomas. I look forward to seeing you over there. I'm doing videos on the YouTube channel, and it's building up a nice little audience over there. And I hope you become part of that audience, as you're already a part of this audience. Much love to you, my friends, and I will see you next week. Take care.